All right, what's up, y'all? Thank you for checking out the Hospitality Strategy Lab. My name is Jason Luttrell, and I'm here with Robin. And if you haven't heard of Robin Nance, then you just don't know. You're just not in the business. Sorry, but welcome to the business because here's Robin Nance, the founder of PiBird Media. She's doing a million things that her impact and felt across many things that you've probably been to or heard of, especially with winning the highest award you can get as an ambassador at Beam Satori, and then also producing Speed Rack for the last couple of years. So, Robin, thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to catch up with you. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Of course. All right. Well, let's get. Well, tell me about your latest project. What's PiBird Media?
So, PiBird Media was sort of born out of conversations here in my local community. So, I live in New Albany, Indiana, and which is just across the river from Louisville, Kentucky, for those of you who are not up on your geography of Indiana. We moved here a few years ago, and there's a lot of small businesses here. And it really was conversation with those small businesses and understanding that most of them were struggling with marketing. Their parents, the economy is tough. They've got a million things going on, and marketing was the thing that was kind of falling to the wayside, or it was something they weren't good at, which is the one thing that businesses need to thrive. And so I had sort of walked away from my corporate marketing career for a few years. And I just had this epiphany one day where I was like, wait, I don't have to be in corporate America to leverage the skills that I built while I was there. I can start this thing and I can help these folks for affordable cost and give them the knowledge of someone who spent 10 years at a global corporation for an amount of money that is affordable to them. So that's sort of how it came about. And yeah, it's brand new. It's a baby. So we're building, and I'm excited to hopefully, I live here, so these businesses thriving benefits me as well. That's really what how PiBird came about. It has always been my LLC, and I've got several things that live underneath that LLC, and it just made sense that I would carry it forward with also a marketing consultancy underneath it.
Can you talk a little bit about where you are right now and what you're doing with that brand and what that
Yes,
business is all about?
physically, my physical location.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. So my life partner, and my best friend own a business here called Wine Shop. It
What's
is
his
a
name
wine
again?
shop.
What's it?
Jason.
Really? So that's like
Yeah.
it's like my favorite word.
Yeah, exactly. Should be easy for you to remember.
Should
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, Jason and Lauren opened this place 3 years ago. Hilariously, it started as a conversation between Lauren and I when we first moved down here. There wasn't really. There's a lot of kind of local wineries with Indiana wine, which no, not knocking Indiana wine. It's not my style. It tends to be on the sweeter side, and they leverage local flavors. So no hate to Indiana wine, but it just wasn't the palette we were looking for, and there really wasn't anything else outside of the grocery store. So I was like, I don't mind going to Louisville to get my wine, but it would be really nice if there was a place here where I could just go down the street and grab a bottle of wine or grab a glass. And my best friend Lauren, who I love equally as a life partner, has no chill and immediately built a business plan. And a year later, this place opened. It happened really quickly, and the community has been really supportive. It is both a bar and a retail bottle shop. We do have a full liquor license, so it is wine and spirits. We have a small cocktail menu. We do a lot of canned cocktails. We do carry some local brands in the RTD space, but all of our wine is global. And we do not carry Indiana wine specifically so that we aren't competing with those local businesses that do carry it.
So when you're building a brand like that, like with that you're trying to like establish it as a local kind of local hero, what kind of questions would you ask to understand more about how to communicate on their behalf?
I mean, so we have a really great regular base. And for me, I love to tap into them. I spend a lot of time here just hanging out and conversing with folks, and also conversing with Jason and Lauren and just saying, like, what are you hearing? What are people excited about? They do a really great job of partnering with their distributor partners and making sure that they're bringing in things that they're hearing their customers want. We also have a pretty cheeky brand. The all of our illustrations and kind of the vibe in here is very fun, and we do a lot with local artists. Some of my art is on the wall behind me. We have an art show coming in next week. So it was built as a community space. And so we have the luxury of being able to really talk to our community and say, like, what do you like? What do you don't like? Um, we started out with just kind of a behind the bar snack food menu and have evolved into we have a small kitchen now, and we're about to release our fall menu, which is going to have heartier dishes. We're never going to be a full service restaurant, but we wanted to be a place where if customers came to have a glass of wine and didn't want to leave and wanted to have a meal, they could do that too. So I don't know if that fully answered your question, but it really is just about listening to the people who come in and building on that.
I really am curious, like, how would you characterize how people decide where they're going to go in your community?
That's a great question. Outside of the current environment, I would say we often are a stop before or after dinner. There are a lot of really great, well established restaurants in our community, and we partner with them. We love them dearly. I mean, we are so fortunate that, you know, this downtown area where I also live, again, very invested in the success of the businesses down here because I live
Mhm.
down here. I think I see a lot of people who do their best to kind of share the wealth. They'll maybe pick a night that they come to us or another night that they go to another venue. We have a couple of nights, like we have a half off bottle night that we tend to get a lot of people come in for. We have historically done a silent reading night our silent book club, where you can come and sit quietly and read and no one will bother you. Or if you have a book club that wants to meet here, you can do that as well, or you can use your book as a coaster if you don't want to read at all while you're here. And that's been really, really popular. So I think it tends to be like, is there another event that they want to be a part of? Or is it just, oh, I'm going on a date night? So that really is kind of how I see the community move through the bars and restaurants down here. We have a new space that just opened up that everyone's really excited about, and we are very close to the owner. So we're really excited for her and to see that succeed because it's kind of the first as fine dining as we have here. It's the first like real fine dining concept, and it's exciting to see the community like get behind it and support it. It's cool.
This place sounds charming. Just for trivia, like what do you get for a glass of wine there? Like how much is a glass of wine?
Our draft wines run about 10. Obviously draft wine is very cost effective. We've got wines that go up to 17, 20, depends. I mean, we've got some Turley
Okay.
allocated Turley stuff that we get. Yeah, I mean it's a legit wine bar.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. You're speaking in my heart when you talk about draft system. I just did this whole course on how to put stuff on draft, how to put
Oh,
anything on
nice.
draft.
Yeah, we have
Um,
I think four wines, several beers. We also have a frozen machine right now till the weather turns. We do a frosé.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Life is good over there.
Yeah.
So what's a common mistake that you see people making when they're trying to market their bars
I
in your community? Like,
yeah,
or is it just like is it just a vacuum where people just aren't doing it?
it's a little of both. I think one of the main mistakes I see in general in any community is diverting from your mission and your consumer. I think I see a lot of people in this era of trends and going viral and things like that trying to like fit into like what's gonna get a lot of eyes on me. Uh, and that might not necessarily be the right path for you. I think really like having a strong mission, understanding who your customer is, and never veering from that is what I have seen works best. And I feel like, well, I mean, this is probably another podcast, but in this like era of AI and the rapid growth of AI, I see a lot of the same kind of content, just with different people's logos slapped on it going out. Um,
Like
and
literally
I
the
think,
same content, like as in like
yeah,
stock content.
exactly.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
also think that
I've like I've seen that one that one old fashioned picture that everybody uses
yeah,
that has like the weird fig garnish on it. Like I've seen that used 1,000 times.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Or it's like AI photography is really big here right now, and so it's like they'll take a bad picture of something from their menu and then run it through AI to get an AI photo of it. It just everything starts to look like this weird AI polished version of so it all looks the same. It either is I mean, I know it's AI because I can tell from looking at it. Uh, but if it's not AI, it's like, oh, well, then the same person is running all these social media accounts and they're running them the same way and they're not the same businesses. So, which I don't think is what it is. It is AI, but they're all learning from each other. So they're using like the same AI systems. And at the end of the day, I think two things are happening. One, you're losing what makes you special and what makes you unique and you. And that's what people want to see. That's what people engage with. You're still selling to people. You're not selling to a computer. So people want to see things that resonate with them. And I also am seeing a lot of, I think the future trend is people are kind of returning back to like blogs, magazines are coming back. Whoever thought that would happen. So I think there's this desire for nostalgia in kind of a positive way, honestly, where it's like, just show me who you are, not this like weird glossy version that everybody else is pumping out too.
Hmm. That's interesting. I mean, in my little world, in my little bubble, like I'm seeing the next generation of AI use, which is where AI starts talking to AI. And so, like, when two AIs interface, like right now, it's like we're still catching on to the whole human talking to AI part. But the next generation of that is when AI starts talking to AI, and then it starts doing things on your behalf, like making decisions for you.
Yeah.
And right now, it's just kind of reactive. But it's warming to hear that that people are still out there doing stuff and telling their own stories. What kind of stuff are you what kind of media do you create for the wine bar?
I do the social media. I'm also a photographer, so I'm shooting a lot, which is again, it's nice. Like I have the luxury of being able to create the content not using AI. So I do a lot of the photography for them. We're doing I said we're releasing the fall menu. So this Sunday we're doing R&D and I'll be shooting all of the new dishes so that I can push that out through our social channels. We're pretty active on Instagram, which feeds Facebook because Facebook is still very much the chosen social media channel for this area.
Mm.
Um, we haven't quite. There is a wine shop TikTok. It is not really wine shop content. We haven't really done content, although we are all big lovers of TikTok. So I
Called Wine Shop.
imagine it is called wine shop. Yeah,
It's a little on the nose, don't you think, Robin?
it is very on the nose,
Yeah.
but it works.
Well, good. I guess if people,
um,
I guess it's great for search engine optimization. If you're looking for wine shop, then it's got to be the
yeah,
first hit, right?
our SEO is on fire. It's great.
There's this place. If you're not familiar with SEO, it's that search engine optimization. It's how when you look for something online, it's like the order in which things serve you. It's a relevance thing. That's funny. There's a Thai restaurant called Thai restaurant near me.
That's great. That's genius, actually.
Pretty smart, right? The question is like it's so Google lately, like in the last couple of years, has been like if you start to do a search, then it'll pre-populate a search result saying XYZ near me. So if you're saying margarita near me, going back into the liquor world, like if you say like margarita near me, then you should probably have the word margarita in your SEO somewhere because that's the language that people are actually looking for. Cool. I don't know. So if you want to get into like your liquor company days, you want to get into that kind of stuff
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
because I'm curious, like do you have a role where you're interfacing with the brands at all?
So my role with Speed Rack actually is I manage all the sponsorships. Um, so Ivy and Lynette are still very much the faces and the founders, and they are kind of the first connect for competitors. I am behind the scenes producing the event, and I manage all of the sponsorships, contracts with sponsors, communication with them. Yeah, I've been very much still connected to that world and working very closely with them. And my background in that world really helps me be able to speak to them and make sure, you know, that the importance of the speed rack world is holistic and we want, a lot of the people who sponsor speed rack they see the ROI in it, but they also understand like there is a bigger mission. And they believe in that mission and they believe in the charities that we support. So just being able to have the right communication, understanding what they need in recaps, what kind of, how it needs to be structured, what data they need. That's sort of where that background came in, and why Ivy and Lynette reached out to see if I would want to do that role. And it's been great because I've been a part of SpeedRack either as a sponsor, as the MC for a couple of years, and now actually working for them. And it's something I deeply believe in, and I'm really proud to say that I work on that project.
Is it nice not having like a corporate overlord second guessing your decisions?
Nothing has ever been nicer. You know what it is? It's Here's what I will say, and I want to preface this in case any of them happen to hear this. I had an amazing relationship with our legal team, what was Beam Centauri, now Centauri Global. They're amazing people. I love them. I understand that like their job is to protect this major corporation. But being able to just go out in the world and say things and not have to have it vetted through like 13 loopholes and people and have it like scrubbed and sanitized is maybe the best thing that has ever happened to me.
Because
And
you did
again, I get
you did a
it.
lot of time, right? How long were you
I
with
did
how long?
a decade.
Yeah.
So I started out at Morrison Bowmore, which was a subsidiary of Suntory, small company that owned three Scotch brands. And then Suntory bought Beam in 2014. The announcement came out. Um, and then they rolled Morrison Bowmore up into what became Beam Suntory. So through that time, and then I got laid off at the end of 2023. So yeah, I a full decade under some
Congratulations.
version of that. Thank you.
And then before that you built a bunch of bars in LA. Is that right?
I did. Yeah, I ran a couple places in Chicago. I moved from LA to Chicago, but yeah, the bulk of my hospitality background was really rooted in Los Angeles.
How has your hospitality experience how did your hospitality experience inform how you did business with what became Beam Centauri?
I mean, I think my hospitality experience informs everything I do. I very firmly believe that I was as successful as I was as an ambassador because I come from that world and I understand the dynamic between owners, bartenders, servers, the importance of all of the players in bars and restaurants. I think a lot of people in, especially like the spirits community, get caught up in bartender, bartender, bartender. So much so that a lot of times even the owner is left out of the conversation. But I'm like, bartenders aren't the only people serving your brands. Servers serve your brands, you know, barbacks, bussers. The kitchen needs to understand it. Spirits are used in recipes all the time. So I think being able to have those conversations in that corporate space, and I was a loud one. I learned a lot in my 10 years. I have a lot of passion and I say what I think, and it took me a while to sort of craft how I relayed that message in a corporate setting, but at the end of the day for me it always came back to, again, this is my personal, it always comes back to who are we talking to? Who's the nexus? Like who's your customer? Who is the message for? And I think as long as you stay true to that. And so, a lot of people in these like brand teams would get really frustrated with me because I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Or they would create programming or marketing for consumers and then have like a trade day. And I'm like, these are two entirely different audiences and you're trying to speak the same language to both of them. And that's not going to work. So I think that having that background in hospitality informed how I approached the way we built programming and marketing for the brands at Beam Centauri when I was there.
It seems like they were wise to hire you to translate that for them. I
Thank
don't.
you.
It seems strange to me. Like a lot of people don't understand how stodgy and old the liquor business is, and like you see the marketing, you see the advertising, which is typically produced by some sort of a creative agency, which it means that it was pitched to somebody and then they had to sell it and then sell it again and sell it again to every stakeholder along the way. These are old people that run the business, and
Yes.
they don't know what TikTok is. They don't know what a lot of this stuff is. But yeah, it's pretty astonishing how you were able to get up on stage and speak your mind and be vocal about the issues that you care about. And I think that's a credit to them, a credit to you, of course. Um, Yeah, very interesting. Looking to the future, what do you think that what do you think people should be ready for in 5 years?
Oh
Like
man,
operators, like if you want to bar a restaurant, like what do you think is going to happen?
this is such an interesting question. And I'm not so I have a really hard time with the like what's your 5-year plan?
I get that.
I
Like
don't even
you said that, and I heard my dad talking, and I was like, Dad, I'm
there's
like, Dad, there is no plan. Okay, like we're trying to
there's no
master the day.
plan. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think because I worked in an environment where I going back to what we were just talking about, I also think it's important for people who maybe don't understand sort of the corporate spirits world. Like when you see a commercial or an ad or even like trade programming, that idea probably happened 3 to 5 years ago. So, like, you're literally looking at a final product that took 3 to 5 years to, like, get to you, and somewhere along the way, the original idea may have been totally scrapped. So I think because I lived in that world where everything we were looking so far ahead, I just don't anymore. I try really hard to kind of stay present in the moment. That being said, I have seen, you know, I was kind of coming out I was still bartending when 2008 happened, and so I've kind of seen bars and restaurants go through the ebbs and flows of recessions, and I've been around a long time. I mean, I'm dating myself. Um,
Same.
so yeah, right? I know. We're like
I'm like, oh, in the early aughts, I was here was where I was in the late aughts.
yeah.
I say aughts,
Put it this way, I was legally bartending in the '90s, so I'll let you do your math from there.
Blue
Yeah,
drinks. Do it.
yeah, exactly, blue drinks. It was the best. And I was a
Wait,
nightclub
we
bartender.
I just remember we opened up Cheers one time
Yeah, we did
in Portland.
yeah, we
Was it in
did the
Portland?
Cheers. Yeah, it was Portland Cocktail Week. We did a Cheers event. It was actually no, it wasn't Cheers. We did a Cheers event at Tails, but we did a cocktail. We reenacted cocktail
Cocktail.
and
Thank
had
you.
like people dressed in it. Yeah, yep. It was a whole cocktail themed event. That was a fun event. I broke my
That was
hand that
so
night.
fun. Who came?
I broke my hand that night at that event.
Oh,
It
well,
was not a great end to that event. And it was during cleanup, I slipped on some water from ice being carried across and caught myself and broke a bone in my hand. Still a great event.
blood, sweat, and tears, laying it all on the line for a party.
I give everything to my events.
Amazing. All right, so just one more. Like, so what do you? How are you using technology? What's like? Where do you see the AI and automation in your business in the future,
Yeah, great
if at all?
question. I think it's tough. Again, I think my age comes into play here because, like, I remember the internet being invented and, people not understanding it or knowing how to use it and saying it wouldn't be here in 6 months or a year or whatever. That's tough. I think, I live in a community where they're building data centers, and it's gonna have a pretty serious direct impact on where I live and the water that I drink. I'm not gonna sit here and say I haven't used it. I have, but I'm trying to be mindful about how, why, and when I use it. And I'm trying to stay informed and educated on the evolution of it. So I can't give you a real clear answer on it because I just don't know right now. I think it's still so early and it's exploding so fast. I mean, this is probably the fastest growing technology I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I just think that there's a lot we don't know, and that coupled with where we are kind of politically as a country. um,
Oh my God! Wow. Yeah. Holy shit! Where are we politically? Like, what world are we living in? Like, if you're listening to this, like Charlie Kirk was just assassinated yesterday. He was just killed yesterday. No, I got I don't have mixed feelings about it.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's interesting. I have been off of Facebook until recently, and understanding that I've now learned that this community uses Facebook a lot, and it's
Hmm.
important for me to be there as a member of it. But yesterday on Facebook, I just was like, what is happening? And I think, there's a lot of conversation around nuance and things like that. But I don't have mixed emotions about him as a person or his messaging. And I think, I've seen a lot of people that are like, oh, he was a godly man. And no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was terrible. He was a terrible person who said terrible things about people I care about and love, full stop.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it was just kind of a strange Schadenfreude because he was like at the moment speaking about all the
Yeah.
terrible things that he believes. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's plenty of noise about this on the internet. All right,
Yeah.
I
But
just have
I do think it's important that one thing I will say, and I think that this is important, and I'm glad that it kind of came to this. This industry is political. It is built off of everything outwardly that we are facing as a country. We are a violent country. We have been built on violence. And I think the more we have these conversations and the more we talk about it and outwardly admit that this industry is political, there's that old saying where you never talk religion and politics in bars. You should be. We have to talk about this and we have to come together as an industry and have these conversations because otherwise we're never going to be able to change. And the same goes for the country. Like we're just a microcosm of that. And we are the gathering place of America. When they come into our bars and restaurants, that's all walks of people. So if you're not having those conversations, then you're doing a disservice. And we just we have to be better and we have to stop shutting each other down when we want to have these conversations. You can't talk about being paid a living wage or getting rid of tipping structure without having the conversation behind why those things exist. So that's my soapbox.
thank for having a soapbox even when it was inconvenient. I mean, seriously, like you've been outspoken about your beliefs, and even when you had, you took risk. People don't like talking about this stuff on the agency level, on the brand level. They just don't like talking about it because they don't want to risk offending somebody. And so I appreciate you just being consistent through all this time about what you believe in. So thank you. All right, last question. Actually, is there anything else about who PiBird serves? Just tell me about your customer real quick. I just want to make sure that we're driving
Yeah,
people in your direction.
absolutely. It's funny because New Albany as a city is pretty big. I think we're like 32,000 people, which you sitting in New York is probably like, that's hilarious.
Huge.
I know, huge. It's so big. But our downtown, which I'm sitting in right now, and is kind of like this hub of businesses, is pretty small. It's like 6 blocks in a square. Um, and it really is about those folks. And that it doesn't have to be New Albany. I think it's anywhere where you've got especially single owner. I obviously have a lot of passion for women owners because I know a lot of the women. Well, first of all, there are 80 women owned businesses in that area I just mentioned down
Oh
here.
wow.
It is almost completely woman owned businesses. And most of them are mothers and they're trying to like navigate their kids. Some of them live in rural areas. So when we have extreme weather, which we have had a ton of this year, they oftentimes can't get to their stores. So they can't open. And so it's this constant fight of keeping their heads above water. And so any way that I can come in to a business like that where someone it's an amazing business. They have a great story, they have a great product. They just don't have the hands they need to get it out. That's where I want to come in. And it's why my pricing structure is the way it is. I have an a la carte menu so that if somebody's like, I just can't do even the like small monthly, then they can pick the one thing that they absolutely like, they want to have an event and they just don't know what to do or they don't have the time to do the details, then they can hire me to do the event. Or if they just need a month's worth of social media content, they can hire me to do that. And that's it. So I really wanted to build it in a way, and it's not to compete with, there's a ton of people here doing great marketing work, but they're big professional marketing agencies and these people aren't ready for that. So I want to help get them to the point where I can hand them off to those folks.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Robin Nance, for joining me on the Strategy Lab. I hope you got some ideas that you can actually put to work in your own bars or restaurants. If you're looking to connect with Robin directly, head to PiBird-media.com. That's PiBird-media.com, or check out the show notes, and I will link to all of our socials and all that stuff. For more conversations and resources, please head to lab.jlatrell.com. And if you found this episode valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with somebody in hospitality who could also use it. I'm Jason Luttrell. Thanks for listening, and I will see you the next time. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.